Hey yo guys, what up? It's Ethan Harrison from eLifts. This is how I train, why I train, and tips and tricks for beginners. So, first off, I train to basically build muscle, a little bit of functional stuff, but also just like for everyday activities. I don't know, I'm trying to get bigger. I got a weight goal of 205 pounds of muscle, not fat, by the start of my freshman year of college. And how I'm achieving this is through multiple different ways, both in the gym and in the kitchen. Today I'm doing an arms and chest workout, if you couldn't tell from the little exercise I'm doing here. Yeah, we're doing arms and chest and some abs. And these are just a few. I'm going to be going through a few of the exercises, how I'm training for them and why I'm training for them the way that I am. So when I'm lifting, I usually start off in like a sort of easy weight, and then I usually progress. I'll go like easy, medium, and then the hardest, and that's when I'll go to failure. And the reason that I do that is to trigger muscle hypertrophy, which will further help muscles. It'll help to tear like the ligaments and stuff, and then help them regrow later on as I take in protein and carbohydrates, things like that. Freeweight stuff. So right now I'm doing the preacher curls, 40 pounds. Weights less than 15 on the bar, 55 pounds. I'll do it for 10 reps. And I'm going to go ahead and do this for another 3 rounds up until I reach failure. Now, you'll see that I'm back at the doing this kettlebell wrist flips, and the reason why is because I like to superset so that I don't end up overworking one group, to where I'm not getting optimal performance. I like to mix it up a little bit, depending on the workouts that I do and the workouts that I'm doing that day. Especially during the workout, I usually superset it, so I'll be doing one thing like the preacher curls, and then I'll go back to doing something like these kettlebell wrist flips. And you can train any way that you want. Usually if I'm if the gym's really busy and I'm stuck to doing one workout a day, not a day, but one workout at a time, I usually take much longer breaks than if I'm supersetting or stuff. In my opinion, just makes it quicker. Honestly, it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. So yeah, now we're back to the preacher curls. Like I said, now I'm doing kind of the medium weight. So I've gone ahead and I've added 5 pounds to each side. So now altogether, the bar weighs 65 pounds. So this is kind of the medium weight. One thing I forgot to do is I like to adjust my grip. Inner grip will work the inner biceps, while an outer grip will focus more on these outer bicep areas. It's just kind of a good way to even it out. I forgot to do this last time, but I usually do 5 on the inside, and then I'll go ahead and do 5 outside, just so that I get working both of those areas of the bicep evenly. And also, something that I like to focus on is getting growth. And one way that I found it best to achieve that is to get a full range of motion. So I was going most of the way down, and then I was coming all the way up to about my chin. And that just seemed to get me the best gains so far. Alright, and we're back with that third set of bicep curls. set. I've got 60 pounds in weights, so it's 75 pounds total. This is the one where I want to go to failure. There's nothing wrong with going to failure. Actually, it helps to trigger muscle hypertrophy, which will cause those ligaments to basically tear a whole bunch and then like regrow to basically improve muscle mass. Some people don't train for this. Some people train for endurance. In which case, you want to train for a lot higher reps and probably lighter weights too. Powerlifters would not train this way. They would probably do like maybe 3 to 6 reps on something like this for like the heaviest weights that they could. And like a bodybuilder would probably do a lot more reps with a little bit lighter weights. I'm looking for both, to build strength and muscle mass, which is why I decided to do a mix of the two. Which is the set structure that I mentioned earlier, which is where I'm doing 10 reps of increasing weights up until failure. So here's this. Bicep, and then we'll work it out. Usually I'll go until I can't really go anymore, and I'll try like 1 or 2 times just to get like maximum kind of like failure in. But if it works, it works. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call that good. So that's a little bit of what you can do. Like I was working with freeweights up there, that's one thing that you can do. You can work with barbells. Alright. So working with freeweights will only get you so far, which is what I can also be doing things like cables. But these are trying to work more with my lower back. Some of the bicep. You can also do body weight exercises. But there's a set of abs weight just to not get failure. But this stuff is also good because they have different muscle groups in the gym, probably with free weights or cables. I'll also be doing both of those exercises up until 3 reps of 10 or until I hit failure. Another thing is there's absolutely nothing using is machines. This one here is targeting my core, this is the abdomen, middle abs, as well as my obliques. And this is probably going to attack them a lot better than Russian twists, partially because it's a lot more stable. I can go heavier on it, but also because I can't keep myself up when I'm doing Russian twists. So this is a good alternative. Same thing as when I was working arms, my chest, those workouts. I'm doing 10 reps, 3 sets of 10 reps. I'm progressing in weight. Right now I'm at 130 and I should end at 150. especially like trying to tone muscle. Things like push-ups and sit-ups, as well as these fish baskets. That they're really good for toning, not necessarily building. But it's kind of like cardio. On fish baskets, I usually go 10 to 15 minutes. I already know how to tip them. And I don't have to kind of like define those abs. Those are mostly made in the kitchen. I can at least try. Little word of advice too. If you're anything like me, I don't always like to do this stuff without weights. So for these fish baskets, I'm thinking I'll do 2x15. And like to help prevent yourself from getting like burnout or worn out from the gym, I would recommend, just do what you want really in here. I mean, nobody's holding you to a strict schedule. I mean, as long as you do workouts that you're happy with, you feel like you trained hard, that's really what matters. I know that I might murder my abs earlier, so I'm just going to do 2 sets of 15 of these. Alright, so another part that I know is important when lifting heavy is also keeping good form. Now, what I do is typically backward crunches.
You're good, man. You're good.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
No, appreciate you asking.
Thank you. As part of gym etiquette, make sure people have people's consent. Or make sure you have people's consent. There we go. But back to what I was saying. What I'll typically do is keep my legs locked in a certain position. I'll try to keep my arms locked in this position as well. And what I do is I bring my head down about as close to my knees as I can, and then right back up. And I'll continue doing this, trying to keep that good form, because otherwise that's egoical. Nobody likes that. You want to keep it controlled, and you don't want to be going all over the place with these. 7, 8, I think. 9. I mean, there might be a movement. I might have moved a bit on those. But, I mean, keeping good form is important for 2 things. One, it'll help optimize your muscle growth, but it'll also help you to prevent getting injuries and things like that. Alright, and as we're finishing it, we can talk about some gym etiquette. One important part is when I'm lifting, especially like the heavy stuff for dumbbell side bends, I like to stand kind of far away from the dumbbell rack. And I know that there's nobody in here now, but if somebody were to walk in the room and want to use the dumbbells and I was just standing there lifting, I don't know, it might, I certainly don't want to bother them by having to have the master weight move if I'm in the way of the weights that they're wanting to use. I don't know, it's not great etiquette to, stand like this far away from the weight rack and use it. It's just not, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's not that big of a deal to take a few steps back so that anybody can use the weight rack. So now that I'm kind of done with my weight workout and stuff, another thing that's important, especially when you're using the machines, is cleaning them off. Now, sometimes I'll be using the lat pull down, the rows or anything like that, even that machine over there, which, or at least that I went ahead and cleaned off once I was done using it because I noticed that there was sweat on it. If you're not sweating a whole bunch and there's none left on the bench, I mean, You can clean it or you can choose not to. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But when you're like sweating a bunch and stuff and you can like see that crack streak, you definitely want to be wiping that off, you know? Another one that it really depends on who you are is the courtesy. Now this is kind of what I mean. I wasn't using this machine. I'll be using that tomorrow. But like the leg press does not have that. Now I'm torn between whether or not to use the courtesy plate method, but my kind of rule of thumb is if there's one plate on it, then I usually leave it as a sign that somebody might be coming back to it, or just left it, and I don't want to tinker with it too much. But if there are no weights, I usually put them all back away. But if there's multiple weights and it looks like somebody just didn't re-rack them, I usually re-rack them myself, just because, like, you know, why not? If they're not going to do it, why won't you? You know? Now, you'll probably notice I haven't been near as charismatic as my last videos, specifically because it's a lot quieter in the gym now. I want to try and match the atmosphere at least a little bit and not disrupt it entirely. Just don't feel like that's a good look. But yeah, that's just a little bit of gym etiquette that I have. Another thing is, like, you know, recognize somebody's lifts. I've been yelled at or at least stopped in the middle of an Olympic lifting workout on one of my more explosive days when somebody told me to stop like slamming the weights. But with Olympic lifts, you know, if you fail on those, sometimes you have to drop that weight. So it's important to recognize that other people's training methods aren't entirely going to be yours, and that's okay. But aside from etiquette, another important part of going to the gym is stuff that you do outside of the gym. I don't know, if you go to the gym and you train hard and everything, but you go home and you don't eat well, or you don't eat at all, that can severely, like, it can severely damage your gains, and any chance that you have of getting gains. If you're not putting enough protein into your body, that can be a huge problem because your muscles aren't recovering like they need to. You'll probably be sore for a lot longer. I mean, you know, you need protein. There's no doubt about it. And also, if you're not getting the carbs that you need, sorry, one second. Sorry. Another thing is, if you're not getting the carbs that you need, the carbohydrates, the calories, things like that, it's also going to detriment your muscle growth. Not only does it deprive you of that energy that you need, but it also prevents your body from wanting to or having the energy to rebuild those muscles that you spent your time in the gym tearing down. You know, usually guys on the cut, you know, if you're on a calorie deficit, that can be great, but you also still need to eat calories. I mean, it's just human nature. So, like, you know, fasting and stuff while going to the gym probably isn't your best move. Another thing is, with cardio and going to the gym, depending on how you do it, it can vary among athletes. If you're training for endurance, you'll probably want to do cardio before you lift, but if you're training for, you know, to build mass and stuff, you'll probably want to do cardio after, and you'll want to do it kind of light. It depends on how big you're planning to get, what you're doing, things like that. One thing that's widely overlooked, especially in the gym community, is sleep. I see a lot of posts about people talking about how they're sleep deprived, or they're not. They're basically running off of hopes and dreams and caffeine. But sleep is actually very important for your gains, especially because there's a certain stage in sleep in where your body says, you know what, we're relaxed, we're calm, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start rebuilding for the next day. People who don't get a lot of sleep are probably sore a lot more than people who do get enough sleep. Probably, I would say more than 5 hours of sleep. That's a good threshold to keep at least. But yeah, if you're not getting enough sleep, your gains are not going to be as good as you would hope them to be. You're probably not going to reach your goals as quick, uh, weightlifting wise, and you're probably going to be a lot more sore and, I mean, obviously tired while you're lifting and while you're just going about your day. Um, but um, one thing that I don't particularly tend to do, which I probably should, I don't know, there's mixed reviews on this, but stretching. I, for one, don't really stretch before I go to the gym, but that's a personal choice. I wouldn't say that I advise it, but I also don't really discourage it either. I mean, you find what works for you. That's probably the best gym advice that I could possibly give, is that you do what works for you. I tend to be pretty spontaneous in my workouts, so what I like to do is I got like 4 different lists um, of like 20 different workouts, and I'll like go ahead and pin like 5 or yeah, 5 to like 8 of them to do all in one session, or in different sessions, like, depending on muscle groups. But that's at least my method. I have a buddy who just does the same thing every workout, and that's fine. That's, he's an endurance athlete. He's not going for like, big strength goals or big weight goals. He's going for distance. And in that case, you might want to plateau, or you might want to keep it, roughly the same. The way that you train is going to be specific to what your goals are, and your goals may not be my goals, and that's all right. My goals are to lift heavy and get big. Like, like those are my two. Somebody else's goals might be to, like, slim down and run farther, or lift heavy and, lose weight. Like, it varies from person to person, and that's okay. Like, how you train and especially how you eat will both impact how that goes. I, for one, will be eating more protein-dense foods. Also things a little bit more carb-dense. Not too carb-heavy, like, junk food, but like things like more complex carbs, like stuff that you find in, heck, I don't know, vegetables. I know it's a terrible example. But like, red meats, things like that. Protein, I mean, that's kind of like a complex something or other. But yeah, it's not going to be like simple stuff. Although, like, for me, donuts do work as a pretty good, like, pre-workout snack. I wouldn't say that that's going to be like one of my top dietary choices. It depends. But yeah, I would also recommend supplements if you're looking to get bigger. I put on 15 pounds this past summer, in both like muscle and a little bit of fat. But the way that I did that mainly was protein powder. I was using like this Dimetized stuff, but now I've gone and switched to Rise because I think it's a great company to follow. Get your stuff off of. But also it's I don't know. They just do good business. They seem like a solid company. They got good guys running it. Daddy Noel for sure. But yeah. Also, real quick, the last thing that I have is that when you are doing cardio, especially for the gym, it doesn't have to be awful. Okay. Now, what I mean by this is, like, you can be walking. It could be running. Like, walking is good cardio. I don't care what anybody says. You could be doing the Stairmaster, although that one sucks. I jump rope for one of mine, which can get frustrating because I don't have any rhythm. But one thing that I've found pretty great is swimming, as well as longboarding. I found a kind of love for both, and I mean, I've decided to kind of make those some of my big, like, cardio things. With the hair dye, it's tough. I'm not swimming much right now, But you know, once it's gone, I probably will a lot more because it's a good all body cardio thing, as well as like it's resistance training. Um, and I mean, you know, the longboarding is good for both like commuting to school and work, as well as just like, you know, getting a quick little workout in. I mean, you know, it's fun and it burns calories. I mean, you know, you're burning calories all the time, whether you like it or not. And that's one of the, I guess, nice things about the gym and stuff, especially, is that like if you're weight training and stuff, you're also burning off calories long after you're done working out because your body is spending that time building up your muscles. But you know, if you do decide to do cardio because, you know, you're also wanting to do some more you know, mobile athletic training, I mean, that's great, but just make sure that it's something that you enjoy and it's not going to make you hate your life. You know, like I've said before, time and time again, do what works for you. You know, that's like 101 of going to the gym, is just find something find something that works and that you enjoy, and I mean, continue doing it. That's like best gym advice. So, well, that's all from me. I appreciate your time. Thank you for checking out this video. I mean, if you want to, you can subscribe and stuff. But yeah, thank you, and see you next time.